Hi. How y'all doing?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it has been so long since I posted a video. Honestly, like, sitting in front of a camera feels so foreign to me. Sorry if I'm out of breath. I literally was running up the stairs because I was like trying to take a thumbnail. But anyway, so today I'm gonna be doing like a update video slash mukbang. For my mukbang, I decided to get popcorn chicken. To even like set up this equipment and stuff was so difficult because like I was thinking sitting on the floor because I wanted to show you guys my food, but then like I was just like, whatever, like you don't have to see the food. And then I got Sprite, but this is super huge. I don't think I can drink all of it. But so, a little update. I have not been posting. I haven't posted for like 6 months, which I am so sorry. I had like work, school, there was a lot of things going on in my life, so I wasn't able to film. I will try to make as many videos as possible. I will try to post consistently. If you're new, you should definitely hit that subscribe button because I know we're in quarantine, so you have nothing to watch, so you should subscribe to me so you can see my content. So let's get into it. Let's talk. So we have a lot to talk about. And this popcorn chicken like low-key smacks. Like I thought it wasn't gonna be good, but it's actually kind of good. Like, and I put it in a bowl because quarantine season. The thing that everybody's been talking about is like the coronavirus. And also I'm in my room eating and I'm not supposed to, so mommy, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. If you're watching, hi.
Hi.
The only reason I'm doing it is because my sister just got off from a 12-hour shift. And I didn't want to bug her if I was sitting in the living room because that's where I was going to film. So the coronavirus. I did not take it seriously when it happened. When the coronavirus hit and it was in China, I really didn't take it seriously. The way people were describing it, it seemed like it was Ebola. What am I even saying? When it was in China, I was like, oh my goodness, that's so scary. But I didn't even know what corona was. I knew it was some infectious disease that was killing a lot of people, but I didn't know how bad it was. And then when the first case in the United States hit, we were talking about it in school, and you know, teachers were having their opinions on it, and a lot of people were saying how they didn't think it was going to affect anything. And because we didn't know a lot about corona at the time, they made it seem like it was impossible for a young person to get sick and die from it, which is completely not the case because there are people of all ages who are dying from this. This is not bad, actually. I'm surprised. I don't even like Jack in the Box, but I heard that they had popcorn chicken and I was kind of craving popcorn chicken, so I got it. People were talking about whether school was closing down, and the way it seemed, like, I honestly was like, school is not going to close down. We're not going to leave school for any reason. But they were trying to be proactive. Like they were canceling like after school activities, which to this day I think is so dumb. You're canceling the things after school, but you're not canceling school itself. People are more susceptible to get it during school than after school activities. I do not know how people make these videos. Like, how can you eat and talk? It goes against everything we've learned as children. And a lot of people I was talking to compared it to Ebola, which I think a lot of people do. Like, people compare corona to Ebola because of how it like happened. But the difference with Ebola and coronavirus is way more infectious. And with Ebola, because the symptoms and stuff were so severe, you could see it because it was like diarrhea, bleeding, all kinds of stuff. So you could like tell if somebody had Ebola. Versus coronavirus, a lot of people have different symptoms, so you don't even know if somebody has it or not. It's like really complicated. I knew it was serious when the last day of school, which I didn't even know was the last day of school, they were like asking us about like technology in case we need to move online. Literally the cases where I lived went from 1 person to 2 people having it to 14 having it to 500 having it. Like, it blew up out of nowhere. I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting it to be as big as it was. Like, when it first happened, people were like going out and buying toilet paper and stuff. I think a lot of people didn't take it seriously. Like, I was still going to work, I was still going to church, so I was like, okay, school's canceled, but I'm still going out. So it didn't really hit me that it was serious. So once they canceled school and everything, I was like, whoa, this is kind of serious. But I was like, okay, whatever. And then work got canceled, and I was like, and where I work is an indoor trampoline place, right? Like, so the week before they were going to cancel everything, like they were going to have the lockdown of like the non-essential businesses, I went to work. And I work in an indoor trampoline place, so kids come there all the time. Our busiest days are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because it's like the weekend, right? I went there on Saturday, and usually we have like maybe 200 kids plus. Like, there's a whole bunch of kids. Like, you can't even like walk in there because people are just, you know, like all around you. I went to work, and tell me why, like there was literally nobody there. And I was the one supposed to do like birthday parties and stuff. I was scheduled to work like 5 birthday parties. I only worked 2. This corona thing really got people scared. That's when I started rethinking whether it was serious or not. When they closed down all the non-essential businesses, I was like, whoa. But I knew it was serious when they closed church down. I said, church?
This corona is something serious. Of course, school's cancelled. I said, okay, whatever. I can't go to my friend's house. Okay, whatever. But then they said church is closed until further notice. Church?
But like the other day, I saw this thing on the news of like this, I think he's a church leader. I don't know if he was the pastor, but he was a church leader, and he was talking about how he wants us to reopen churches. This thing is serious. I don't think that we should open up churches. Like, I don't think we should open up anything until this thing has been combated. That's just my opinion. My church, we've been using things like Zoom to contact each other. So like you can contact each other outside of the church. Like God is not limited to one place. Like God doesn't only show up at church. Like he can show up in your room. He can show up wherever. People are carrying corona and they don't even know it. So, and that's another thing. Stay at home. I've been seeing people like hang out with their friends. They're going out. Stay inside. You're putting yourself and other people at risk. It's not that hard. Well, it is hard, but like it's for the greater good. Like if we all were to stay at home, especially for those first critical couple of weeks, honestly I feel like we wouldn't have as many cases as we have now. I was having a conversation with one of my friends. So China was the first place that had the cases of coronavirus. We have surpassed my English has been like terrible. We have surpassed China in cases. Right now, United States, one of the places with the highest cases. We weren't so strict about it and people didn't take it seriously. In reality, that's what would have helped us in those early stages. With Ebola, when it happened, it was hysteria, but not to this level, but it was still hysteria. And the administration back then did a really good job at trying to combat it really quickly. Because from what I remember, Ebola came and it went. I went to go get food maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and when that was early, like when the coronavirus was like now hitting like crazy. And I saw like, and I live next to a park. I saw kids at the park and they were not social, like they were like all together. What? It looked like it was just a regular summer day. And I'm like you guys are not afraid? You're not even like being cautious? This video is so long, but it's okay because we have nothing better to do. I was watching the news and they were talking about opening up cities back again by May 1st. It is May 14th. Like, I mean,
it was at this moment that he knew. He messed up.
It's April 14th, not May. The only way I would feel comfortable about opening up society again is if this thing is somewhat over with. I know people want to go back to work. I know people want to do stuff, but like, it's going to be worse. That's why we need to wait for it to cool down before we open up everything. Because you guys can go outside, but I'm staying at home. Honestly, I think one thing that's just been keeping me grounded is knowing that God is there. And I know a lot of times like people are like, oh my gosh, if God loves us, why would he do something like this? He is not the cause for this, but he's definitely the solution. And I feel this time, even though it is a really scary time for a lot of people, I feel like this is a time where people can grow closer to Christ, get to know him. But I also think this is like a really good opportunity to spend time with your family, be able to do the things that you always couldn't do, like good time to just relax for a second. And I know especially like with school and everything, like I was so stressed. I always felt like I was just going through the motions. Senioritis was hitting me hard. With this whole corona stuff and staying inside, it's really giving me time to just relax and just focus on me, which I think is really important. I read a story and I saw it all over social media. I was like, this is not true. And I was like baffled. So basically these French scientists, I'll leave a website where I found all my information. I'll link them down below so you can go and look for it for yourself. These French scientists came on national TV and basically said wanted to test potential vaccines for the coronavirus on Africans. It was so outrageous, I didn't believe it. I was like, they would never do something like that. No, they did. And when they got backlash, they apologized and said that they didn't mean to say, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're just sad that you got caught. The media does a really bad job at portraying Africa. They see animals, poverty, and disease. People portray Africa in such a negative light when Africa is more than that. Every place in the world has its bad parts and its good parts, and Africa is the same way. It has its bad parts, but it has its good parts. But instead of portraying like good parts of Africa, they portray like the ugly parts. There is this video, if I see it, I will post it in this video, but it's this guy and he's talking about like the real, I forgot what it was called, but it's like the real thing of Africa, and it shows all these beautiful mansions and these beautiful places, because that they do have mansions in Africa. And even if Africa was poor and, you know, all the places, it doesn't give you the right to test innocent people who have not volunteered to be used as lab rat. It just sucks that like people have such, they're so ignorant that like they think they can test on innocent people. Why are you testing on Africans? Go to your own people and go and test on them. Have people volunteer to do it. Obviously, if your people don't want to be tested for the vaccines, what makes you think somebody else will want to be tested? Like, Africa is not your science lab where you can just test on innocent people and lives. Like, they have ambitions and dreams too, just like you do, or your kids do, or your family, or whoever. They had the audacity to say that, which makes me believe that like they've done things like that before. People think that like all these diseases like coronavirus and stuff, like I was talking about with the racism, like people think that they come from these like places, when in reality, Europeans, if you go way back in our history, Europeans brought all these diseases to us. And if you look at all the cases and all the people and the death tolls, if you compare the Western areas like the United States compared to Africa, you see that the cases and the death tolls are way more than African nations or other places. China had the disease, but yet we surpassed them in cases. That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, we're doing something wrong. This is so much food. I haven't even drunk half of this. It's so big. If you're new, hi, you should subscribe because why not? That is all for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you made it to the end of the video, I want you to comment down below how quarantine is for you, how coronavirus affected you, and some things that you've been able to do. I would really love to know in the comments. I want to have conversations. All the topics I mentioned, if you have your own take on it, I would love to hear it in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay inspired. Bye.